Black Americans have a unique relationship with public figures and celebrities. There are those within the Black culture who look to them as North Stars, while the world at large often uses them as a pulse on the overall sentiments of Black people. This fascinating dynamic creates an emotional response to the success of these public figures and their demise. Today, we are going to take a look at the 15 most controversial Black people of all time. We guarantee you won't agree with our entire list. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and let us know how you feel in the comments. First, he stood up to one president, got called a donkey by another president, befriended another president, then ran for president. 15. Kanye West. Kanye West is a generational musician, fashion designer, entrepreneur, and cultural icon. As one of the most influential artists of the 21st century, Ye has reshaped the landscape of popular music with his innovative sound, thought-provoking lyrics, and boundary-pushing creativity. His albums, The College Dropout, Late Registration, and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, have earned widespread acclaim. His visionary approach in fashion through Yeezy and his partnership with Adidas has left a lasting imprint on fashion houses and sneaker design. However, Kanye West has never been one to not speak his mind. His unfiltered remarks on topics ranging from politics and race to fame and mental health have sparked fierce debate and criticism, alienating some fans and earning him a reputation for unpredictability. In 2005, during a call-in telethon to help the victims of Hurricane Katrina, Mr. West, in an unscripted moment on live TV, said, "President George Bush doesn't care about Black people." A few years later, after Ye ran up on stage and upstaged a young Taylor Swift, President Obama famously called him a jackass. Then, in 2018, a tweet exchange showcased the budding friendship between Kanye and President Trump. Mr. West then brought all of his political connections full circle when in 2020, he announced his intent to run for president. West's public persona, which oscillates between brilliance and controversy, has made him a lightning rod for controversy and a subject of fascination for tabloids and social media. Between his comments on slavery and the Holocaust to his marriage to Kim Kardashian, it's not hard to feel some type of way about Mr. West. Despite the controversies, Kanye West's impact on society cannot be overstated. He has challenged conventional norms and pushed the boundaries of creativity in music, fashion, and popular culture, inspiring countless artists and creators to think outside the box and pursue their passions fearlessly. While opinions about Kanye West may vary, there is no denying his status as a cultural icon and his enduring influence on the world of music, fashion, and entertainment. The next person on our list's remarkable achievements were overshadowed by his political connections. 14. Ben Carson. Ben Carson, a renowned neurosurgeon and author, made significant contributions to society through his groundbreaking medical work and public service. As a pioneering neurosurgeon, Carson achieved international acclaim for his expertise in pediatric neurosurgery, particularly for his successful separation of conjoined twins in the 1980s. His innovative surgical techniques and dedication to advancing medical knowledge have saved countless lives and inspired future generations of medical professionals. Dr. Carson's philanthropic efforts, including his establishment of the Carson Scholars Fund to support academic achievement among young students, have had a positive impact on education and youth empowerment. He may have separated two people, but people had trouble separating Dr. Carson from his politics. In 2016, Ben Carson ran for president as a member of the Republican Party before bowing out to eventual nominee and future president Donald Trump. He was subsequently appointed as Secretary of Housing and Urban Development by President Trump. While supporters applauded his commitment to public service and his efforts to address issues such as urban poverty and housing affordability, critics questioned his qualifications and effectiveness in leading a federal agency tasked with addressing complex social and economic challenges. As a prominent conservative voice, Carson has expressed views on a range of issues, including healthcare, immigration, and social welfare, that have sparked debate and criticism. His opposition to government intervention in healthcare and support for free market solutions have drawn praise from some quarters, but have been criticized by others as insensitive to the needs of vulnerable populations. Additionally, Carson's remarks on topics such as poverty, race, and LGBTQ rights have generated controversy and accusations of insensitivity and bigotry, further polarizing public opinion. Ben Carson's contributions to society as a pioneering neurosurgeon and philanthropist are widely recognized and admired, but his controversial statements and political positions have made him a polarizing figure in American public life. 13. Clarence Thomas. There's only been 3 Black Supreme Court justices, and Clarence Thomas was the second. Mr. Thomas was appointed Associate Justice of the United States Supreme Court in 1991. Clarence Thomas followed the footsteps of America's first Black Supreme Court judge, Thurgood Marshall. As the second African American to serve on the nation's highest court, Thomas has played a pivotal role in shaping legal decisions that impact the lives of millions of Americans. His conservative judicial philosophy emphasizes a strict interpretation of the Constitution and a commitment to the individual liberties and limited government intervention. Throughout his tenure, Thomas has authored opinions on a wide range of issues, including civil rights, affirmative action, and the separation of powers, leaving a lasting imprint on American law and jurisprudence. However, Clarence Thomas has been polarizing from the beginning, eliciting strong reactions from both supporters and detractors. Even before the examination of his judicial approach, which some argue prioritizes conservative ideology over principles of fairness and justice, Mr. Thomas faced criminal allegations. During Mr. Thomas's confirmation hearings in 1991, he faced allegations of sexual harassment by Anita Hill. Ms. Hill's testimony sparked a national debate about gender, race, and power dynamics in the workplace. While some of his supporters cried subterfuge as Mr. Thomas pursued one of the highest positions in America, it forced America to examine workplace relationships and left a stain on Mr. Thomas's legacy. As a justice, Clarence Thomas's opinions on issues such as affirmative action and voting rights have drawn criticism for their perceived hostility towards efforts to address systemic inequality and discrimination. Then, in 2022, he led his most polarizing move when he supported the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. Clarence Thomas's personal background and experiences contribute to his polarizing nature. Born in poverty in rural Georgia, he overcame significant obstacles to ascend to the highest echelons of American law, embodying the American dream for some. Despite his historic appointment to the Supreme Court, Thomas remains a divisive figure whose legacy continues to be debated and scrutinized in the realms of law and public discourse. 12. O.J. Simpson. Depending on your age, you have so many different opinions about O.J. Simpson. If you grew up a football fan in the 1970s, you saw the Juice win the Heisman Trophy as the star running back at USC, then watched him conquer the NFL. O.J. earned acclaim for his exceptional athleticism and skill, becoming one of the most recognizable and beloved figures in American sports. He then followed up his stellar career with a smooth transition into film and TV, quickly becoming a movie star, spokesperson, and beloved broadcaster. But if O.J. came on your radar for the first time in the early 90s, you had a totally different perspective. Because in 1994, O.J. Simpson was charged with murder. In one of the most publicized trials in American history, O.J. Simpson stood trial, accused of the murders of his ex-wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend, Ron Goldman. Often referred to as the trial of the century, it captivated the nation and exposed deep divisions among racial and socioeconomic lines. Simpson's acquittal in 1995 sparked intense debate and controversy, with many believing that the outcome reflected systemic biases in the criminal justice system and disparities in legal representation. For several years following his acquittal, O.J. Simpson capitalized on his infamous status and proceeded to launch his third act as a reality star. Then in 2007, he was arrested again, this time charged with armed robbery and kidnapping. He was sentenced to 33 years and ended up serving 9. Many believe his conviction was in retaliation for him being acquitted of murder 13 years prior. While some view Simpson as a symbol of racial injustice and a victim of a flawed legal system, others believe that he escaped accountability for his alleged crimes due to his wealth, fame, and privilege. The case also raised questions about media sensationalism, courtroom theatrics, and the role of race in American society, highlighting the enduring legacy of racism and inequality in the criminal justice system. In the decades since his trial, O.J. Simpson's public image has continued to evolve, with some still regarding him as a sports hero and entertainment icon, while others see him as a symbol of impunity and moral ambiguity. Regardless of one's perspective, when it comes to O.J. Simpson, you definitely have an opinion. The next person on our list is the first woman to appear on our list. 11. Assata Shakur. Born Joanne Chesimard, Assata Shakur is a symbol of resistance to many and a villain to others. Born in 1947, Assata Shakur became involved in civil rights activism and the Black Panther Party during the 1960s and 1970s, advocating for racial equality, social justice, and self-determination for African Americans. Assata Shakur's activism and advocacy played a significant role in challenging racial discrimination and systemic oppression in the United States. As a member of the Black Panther Party and the Black Liberation Army, she participated in efforts to combat police brutality, provided community services, and empowered marginalized communities. Shakur's commitment to the struggle for civil rights and her willingness to confront injustice made her a hero to many within the African American community and the broader social justice movement. However, in 1973, she went from hero to vigilante, or villain depending on whose perspective. Assata Shakur was convicted of the murder of a New Jersey state trooper during a shootout on the New Jersey Turnpike. To many supporters, the trial was a farce and another example of systemic racism. Others saw her as a hero fighting fire with fire. However, she added another layer of complexity when in 1979, she escaped prison. Following her escape, Assata Shakur fled to Cuba, where she was granted political asylum by the Cuban government. She would become the first woman to be listed on the FBI's most wanted list. Ms. Shakur's involvement in the death of a police officer has divided public opinion and sparked intense debate about issues of race, justice, and political activism. While some view her as a courageous freedom fighter who sacrificed everything for the cause of liberation, others see her as a criminal and a symbol of lawlessness. Shakur's case highlights the complexities of navigating issues of justice and accountability in the context of systemic injustice and political persecution, underscoring the enduring legacy of racial inequality and oppression in America. Enjoying this Blackball exclusive? Hit that subscribe button and bell. 10. Malcolm X. Malcolm X was one of the most feared men in America. It wasn't through violence or brute strength that he commanded power, but rather his intellect, charisma, and discipline that inspired and still influences many till this day. Born Malcolm Little in Omaha, Nebraska, he was raised under the pillars of Pan-Africanism and Black self-reliance. Even though Malcolm Little grew up in a Garveyite-inspired household, his path back to Black self-reliance would be a winding road littered with violence, drugs, and a 6-year prison sentence. His prison sentence of 10 years for robbery and gun charges was reduced to 6 when he was released on parole. While in prison, Malcolm Little denounced his ways that led him to prison and converted to Islam. In prison is also where he was introduced to the Nation of Islam and the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. After his release from prison in 1952, Malcolm officially became a member of the Nation of Islam and changed his last name from Little to X. By the mid-1950s, the man formerly known on the streets as Detroit Red was arguably the most feared Black man in America. Just like his father, he became a brazen, outspoken advocate of Black excellence and self-reliance, but on a national scale. Malcolm was given leadership roles within the NOI, becoming an amplified voice of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You could find him at town halls throughout the country or in newspapers and television programs. He fought against the violence and racism against Blacks with his words, often encouraging Black people to stand up for themselves, to fight back and love themselves. When Malcolm initially joined the nation, membership stood at about 400, but by the turn of the decade, membership was over 40,000. Malcolm X's impact goes beyond his work in the nation. After disputes and turmoil, he was ousted from the nation. During this time, he began to lay the groundwork to bring the plight of Black people in America to the United Nations. Malcolm also began to evolve his thinking of all people after he made a pilgrimage to Mecca. It was Minister Malcolm's words that made him polarizing and dangerous. It was his words that people loved and feared, and his words and impact will live forever. 9. Condoleezza Rice. Condoleezza Rice is a prominent figure in American politics and academia who has made significant contributions to society through her leadership, scholarship, and public service. Her contributions are notable for their impact on foreign policy, education, and civil rights, as well as her trailblazing achievements as an African-American woman in positions of power and influence. One of Condoleezza Rice's most significant contributions is her service as the 66th United States Secretary of State under President George W. Bush from 2005 to 2009. In this role, Rice played a key role in shaping American foreign policy and navigating complex diplomatic challenges, including the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, the global war on terror, and the efforts to promote democracy and human rights around the world. Her leadership and expertise in international affairs earned her respect and admiration from colleagues and counterparts on the world stage. Moreover, Condoleezza Rice's contributions to education and academia have left a lasting impact on future generations of leaders and scholars. As a professor of political science and provost at Stanford University, Rice was dedicated to fostering intellectual curiosity, critical thinking, and academic excellence among students. She has authored numerous books and articles on topics ranging from international relations to American politics, contributing to scholarly discourse and public understanding of complex issues. Additionally, Rice's achievements as an African-American woman in positions of power and influence have shattered barriers and inspired countless individuals to pursue their dreams and aspirations. As the first African-American woman to serve as a Secretary of State, Rice broke new ground and paved the way for future generations of women and minorities to aspire to leadership roles in government and public service. However, Condoleezza Rice is also a polarizing figure due to her association with controversial policies and decisions, particularly those related to the Iraq War and the War on Terror during the Bush administration. Critics have questioned her role in advocating for military intervention in Iraq and her defense of enhanced interrogation techniques, including waterboarding, as part of the administration's counterterrorism efforts. Despite the controversy surrounding her, Condoleezza Rice's contributions to society as a stateswoman, scholar, and trailblazer are widely acknowledged. Her leadership, intellect, and dedication to public service have left an indelible mark on American politics, foreign policy, and academia, inspiring future generations to strive for excellence and make a positive difference in the world. We are halfway through our list. Anyone you love or hate no matter what so far? Comment below. 8. Dave Chappelle. One of the most prolific comedians of all time, Dave Chappelle is celebrated for his social commentary and fearless exploration of complex social issues. Mr. Chappelle cemented himself as an all-time great with his groundbreaking show, The Chappelle Show. The sketch show challenged societal norms and pushed comedic boundaries while offering sharp insights into the human condition. Chappelle's comedic style combined irreverent humor with incisive social commentary, tackling topics such as race, politics, and pop culture with intelligence and wit. Moreover, Dave Chappelle's contributions to society extend beyond comedy to his role as a cultural commentator and advocate for social justice. He has used this platform to address issues of racial inequality, police brutality, and systemic injustice, often drawing from his own experiences as a black man in America. Chappelle's willingness to take on any topic, including sensitive topics like LGBTQ or the Jewish community, has left him open to criticism. Some of his jokes have sparked debate and criticism, with some accusing him of being insensitive or offensive. Additionally, Chappelle's critiques of cancel culture and political correctness have drawn both praise and condemnation from different quarters. Despite the controversy surrounding him, Dave Chappelle's contributions to society as a comedian, social commentator, and cultural icon are widely acknowledged and celebrated. His fearless pursuit of truth and his commitment to using comedy as a tool for social commentary and change have left an indelible mark on comedy, culture, and conversations about race and identity in America. 7. Huey P. Newton. Huey P. Newton was the co-founder and leader of the Black Panther Party. His contributions are notable for their focus on addressing systemic oppression, advocating for Black empowerment, and organizing communities to resist racial injustice. One of Newton's key contributions was the establishment of the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense in 1966, alongside Bobby Seale. The BPP emerged as a vanguard organization dedicated to combating police brutality, protecting Black communities, and promoting social and economic justice for African Americans. The Panthers' community programs, such as free breakfast programs for children and health clinics, provided vital support to underserved communities and challenged the narrative of Black inferiority. Newton's leadership in the Black Panther Party elevated the discourse on race and power in America, emphasizing the need for armed self-defense and self-determination in the face of systemic oppression. His advocacy for Black power and his commitment to revolutionary socialism inspired a generation of activists and catalyzed broader movements for racial and social justice. However, Huey P. Newton is also a polarizing figure due to the controversies and challenges associated with his leadership of the Black Panther Party. The Panthers' confrontational tactics, including armed patrols and clashes with law enforcement, sparked intense scrutiny and condemnation from government officials, leading to violent confrontations and legal persecution of party members. Additionally, internal divisions and conflicts within the BPP, as well as Newton's personal struggles with addiction and legal troubles, contributed to the organization's decline and eventual dissolution. Despite the controversy surrounding him, Huey P. Newton's contributions to society as a revolutionary thinker and activist are widely acknowledged. His commitment to challenging systemic oppression, empowering marginalized communities, and advocating for social change continues to inspire activists and advocates for racial justice around the world. Newton's legacy serves as a reminder for the ongoing struggle for liberation and the importance of grassroots organizing and collective action in the fight against injustice. We are down to our top 5. The next person on our list only lived a quarter century, but she shook up the world while she was here. 6. Tupac. Hip-hop music is one of the most controversial exports of Black culture, and no product has been shared with the world more than the art form Tupac Shakur. Tupac was a highly influential rapper, actor, and activist. As one of the most iconic figures in hip-hop history, Tupac's music and artistry transcended genre boundaries, resonating with audiences around the world and inspiring generations of fans. The son of a Black Panther, Pac's combination of activist, artist, and thug endeared him to millions, but put fear into many as well. His lyrics often tackled themes of poverty, racism, police brutality, and systemic oppression, giving voice to the struggles and aspirations of marginalized communities. Tupac's authenticity, raw emotion, and storytelling prowess made him a powerful and relatable figure to millions of listeners, particularly those who had experienced hardship and injustice. Pac's activism and advocacy for social change further cemented his legacy as a transformative figure in American culture. He used his platform to raise awareness about issues affecting African Americans, including the prison industrial complex, gang violence, and inner-city poverty. Tupac's commitment to justice and equality was evident in his involvement with organizations like the Black Panther Party and his efforts to promote education, community empowerment, and nonviolence. However, Pac's tenacity led him into plenty of polarizing incidents. Tupac was involved in rap beefs, police beefs, and political beefs. In October of 1993, Tupac was involved in an incident that ended in 2 off-duty police officers being shot. He was acquitted of those charges. He then spent 8 months in prison for sexual assault in 1995. Then in 1996, he had a war of words with civil rights activist Dolores Tucker. His confrontational style and outspokenness often generated controversy and criticism, leading to debates about his legacy and impact on society. Unfortunately, Tupac's life ended tragically when he was gunned down later the same year. His death left many fans mourning the loss of a cultural icon and fueled conspiracy theories and speculation about the circumstances surrounding his untimely demise. Tupac Shakur's contributions to society as a rapper, activist, and cultural icon are undeniable. His music continues to inspire and resonate with audiences worldwide, while his activism and advocacy for social justice serve as a lasting reminder of the power of art and activism to effect change. Tupac's legacy lives on through his timeless music, his impact on hip-hop culture, and his enduring influence on generations of artists and activists striving for a better world. The next person on our list beat the odds, then bit his opponent. 5. Mike Tyson. Iron Mike Tyson is one of the most feared men on the planet. Right now, the former heavyweight champ is a complex and polarizing figure who has made significant contributions to boxing, black culture, and through his own testimony about his personal journey of redemption and self-discovery. Mike Tyson's dominance in the boxing ring was like no other. He became the youngest undisputed heavyweight champion of the world at 20 years old through his ferocious fighting style and devastating knockout power. His record-breaking accomplishments solidified his legacy as one of boxing's all-time greats and made him hundreds of millions in the process. Tyson's fame transcended boxing as he appeared in movies, television shows, and commercials, further solidifying his status as a pop culture icon and household name. However, his tenacity often spilled over into his real life. Self-acknowledged abuse of alcohol and illicit drugs, as well as wild spending sprees and other indulgences, derailed his career. In 1992, Mr. Tyson was sentenced to prison for sexual assault, where he spent 3 years. After his release, Tyson regained his heavyweight titles. He then faced controversy again in 1997 during a rematch with Evander Holyfield. In an act of frustration, Mike took a bite out of his opponent's ear. The incident shocked fans all around the world. But like a great champion, Mike Tyson bounced back. Despite facing numerous setbacks after he left boxing, including legal troubles, addiction, and personal tragedies, Tyson has persevered and embraced a path of personal growth, reflection, and self-improvement. His willingness to confront his past mistakes, take responsibility for his actions, and strive for self-betterment serves as a powerful example of resilience and transformation. Despite the controversy surrounding him, Mike Tyson's contributions stand as a symbol of resilience and redemption and is widely acknowledged and celebrated. His impact on the sport of boxing and popular culture, as well as his personal journey of growth and self-discovery, continue to inspire and resonate with audiences around the world. 2 Mikes in a row, but this Mike wore a different glove. 4. Michael Jackson. One of the most iconic figures in world history, and arguably the most famous person to ever exist, none other than the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Known for his groundbreaking music, jaw-dropping dance moves, and humanitarian efforts, MJ is the most iconic and influential entertainer of all time. He revolutionized the music industry with his innovative sound, electrifying performances, and unparalleled showmanship. His albums shattered records, and his performances brought grown men to tears. MJ was not stingy with his treasures. During his time, he donated millions of dollars to charities supporting children's health, education, and welfare, demonstrating his commitment to making a positive difference in the world. Additionally, Jackson's music and performances transcended cultural and societal barriers, bringing people together and inspiring millions with messages of love, unity, and social change. MJ may have been out of this world, and he definitely transcended what was deemed possible in entertainment, but he was one of the most polarizing figures of his time. Between his personal life, private life, controversies, and scandals, he earned plenty of nicknames, and not the good kind. Several times, he was accused of abusing children, and even though he was never convicted of any crimes, they still cast a shadow over his legacy and led to intense scrutiny and public debate. The accusations, legal battles, and obvious surgery enhancements led many to villainize the beloved artist. Michael Jackson's artistic legacy remains indelible, with his music continuing to resonate with audiences of all ages and backgrounds. His influence on popular culture, fashion, dance, and music videos is profound and enduring, shaping the work of countless artists and performers. While opinions about Jackson may vary, there is no denying his impact on society and his status as a cultural icon whose legacy continues to inspire and provoke thought. We created this list not to absolve or condemn anyone. History is nuanced because the human experience is nuanced. We love people we won't admit to and hate people because we haven't heard the whole story. We created this list so you can make your own choice. 3. Louis Farrakhan. The Honorable Louis Farrakhan is a prominent figure in American society, known for his leadership in the Nation of Islam and advocating for Black independence. Minister Farakhan has made significant contributions to society by addressing issues of racial inequality, economic injustice, and systemic oppression faced by African Americans. He has mobilized communities, promoted self-empowerment, and advocated for political and economic independence for Black Americans. Minister Farakhan's influence extends beyond the Nation of Islam to broader social and political spheres. He has been an outspoken critic of racism, imperialism, and injustice, both domestically and internationally, using his platform to raise awareness about issues affecting marginalized communities around the world. Additionally, Farakhan has organized various initiatives aimed at addressing social and economic disparities, including education and community development programs. One of his greatest feats came in 1995 when he led the Million Man March on Washington, D.C. But there always seems to be a pattern to leaders who advocate for Black independence. Minister Farakhan has been criticized for controversial statements and beliefs, particularly regarding race, religion, and politics. He has been labeled anti-Semitic and a terrorist. Some of his remarks have been criticized as divisive and inflammatory, drawing condemnation from civil rights organizations, religious leaders, and public officials. Farakhan's rhetoric has been a source of controversy and debate, leading to his marginalization in mainstream political and social circles. Minister Farakhan was even criticized for his relationship with fallen leader of Libya, Muammar Gaddafi. Despite the controversy surrounding him, Louis Farrakhan remains a figure of influence and inspiration for many within the African American community and beyond. His efforts to uplift and empower marginalized communities have left a lasting impact on American society, prompting important conversations about race, identity, and social justice. While opinions about Farakhan may vary, there is no denying his significance as a leader and advocate for change in the fight against racial oppression and inequality. We are down to our final two. Any idea who they could be? 2. Sean Diddy Combs. For almost 30 years, there has been no one more influential in hip-hop music than Sean Diddy Combs. He's changed his name just as many times as he changed the landscape of hip-hop and its relationship to not only Black America, but to the world. Diddy can be credited for introducing the world to artists like Usher, Mary J. Blige, Jodeci, and Biggie. Produced songs for superstars like Jay-Z, Mariah Carey, Britney Spears, and even for Godzilla. He's a musical icon, executive, fashion, and spirits mogul. Sean Combs made us dance and then launched his own premium vodka to keep the party going. He revolutionized the rapper-to-product relationship when he helped launch the French vodka, Ciroc. At his peak, Diddy was making upwards of $60 million a year from his partnership. Sean, Diddy, Puffy, Puff Daddy has been at the zenith of Black and hip-hop culture for over a quarter century, so his downfall has created quite the tidal wave. On March 25, 2024, 3 of Mr. Combs' homes were raided in Los Angeles, New York, and Miami. The raids were conducted by Homeland Security. As of today, it is not sure why the raid was conducted. Late in 2023, he was sued by his ex-girlfriend, Cassie, for allegations of sexual misconduct. The filing included allegations of more insidious conduct as well. His partnerships with Ciroc and De Leon have been dissolved, as well as his ownership and stake of Revolt TV. It is uncertain what the future looks like for Diddy. 1. Bill Cosby. Who is more polarizing than Bill Cosby? He was a famed comedian, created a TV show that single-handedly fueled Black children going to HBCUs, showed the world that black people were doctors and lawyers, America's dad, then his downfall. Mr. Cosby is a trailblazer who rose to fame in the 1960s and 1970s with his stand-up comedy routines. His groundbreaking sitcom, The Cosby Show, depicted an affluent African-American family and challenged stereotypes about race and class in America. The Cosby Show and another Cosby creation, A Different World, are credited with the boom of attendance of historically black colleges through the 90s. Through his comedy and public persona, Cosby became America's dad and a beloved figure who transcended racial boundaries and inspired generations of entertainers and audiences. His contributions to the black culture and world at large made his downfall so much more drastic. In recent years, dozens of women have come forward to accuse Bill Cosby of drugging and sexually harassing them over several decades, allegations that he has vehemently denied. The revelations about Cosby's alleged predatory behavior have shattered his image as a wholesome family man and cultural icon, leading to widespread condemnation and calls for accountability. In 2015, he was charged for felony aggravated indecent assault for a 2004 incident. Cosby was eventually found guilty of drugging and sexually assaulting his victim and received a sentence of 3 to 10 years in prison. He was released after his conviction was overturned in 2021. Cosby's fall from grace has sparked broader conversations about power, privilege, and accountability in society. His case has highlighted the prevalence of sexual violence and the challenges survivors face in seeking justice, particularly when accused individuals wield influence and authority. Mr. Cosby's legacy has prompted soul-searching within the black culture on how to navigate the artist and his art. Bill Cosby's contributions to entertainment and philanthropy are undeniable, but his legacy is marred by allegations of sexual assault and misconduct that have irreparably damaged his reputation and divided public opinion. His story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of idolizing public figures and the importance of holding individuals accountable for their actions, regardless of their status or accomplishments.